Imagine crossing frozen rivers, barefoot, building shelters from snow and ice with nothing but hands, hunting animals twice your size with sticks, drinking water that would make most sick, and surviving, not for days, not for weeks, but years, generations, thriving against impossible odds. No engineers, no tools, no science, just instinct, ingenuity, and guts. They solved problems that modern humans can't even imagine. Structures that shouldn't stand, fires that defy the rain, boats that survive storms no one dared sail. Every step, a risk of death. Every meal, a fight against extinction. And yet, they lived. They conquered nature. They thrived. What did they know that we've forgotten? How did they do the impossible and leave no trace behind? Today, we reveal their secrets, secrets buried for centuries, and the truth will shock you. Picture this: a world where rivers freeze solid, where mountains pierce the sky and storms wipe out everything in hours. No roads, no medicine, no second chances. You step outside, and the cold bites your bones. Predators lurk, hunger gnaws. Every step could be your last. Yet thousands of years ago, humans didn't just survive, they thrived in places no one would dare to live. In the Arctic, they built shelters from ice that could withstand blizzards. In deserts, they found water and sand where nothing should exist. On stormy coasts, they sailed with boats no bigger than modern bathtubs. No engineers, no architects, no one to tell them what could or couldn't work. And here's the shock: they did it all without leaving a single blueprint. Every design, every strategy, learned, tested, and perfected in the harshest classrooms imaginable, nature itself. Disease, starvation, exposure, every single one could kill instantly. And yet, they survived. How? Not by luck, not by chance, by solving problems that even today would seem impossible. Their world was relentless, merciless, and every moment demanded genius or death. By the end of this video, you'll see what seems impossible to us was ordinary life to them, and the methods they used will make everything you thought you knew about ancient humans look completely wrong. They had nothing. No modern tools, no metal, no textbooks. And yet, they solved problems that would kill us in hours. In icy lands, they carved shelters from snow and ice. Igloos, not for decoration, not for novelty. Each block, each curve, engineered to trap heat, deflect wind, and survive blizzards. Desert dwellers, they built underground homes to escape the sun's fury. Ventilation, natural, cooling, ingenious, all without thermometers, rulers, or plans. Just observation, trial, survival instinct. Their tools, simple yet deadly effective. Stone axes that could fell trees in minutes. Bone needles that stitched hides tighter than modern seams. Wooden sleds that carried more than a dozen men's worth of supplies over frozen rivers. And food? Preservation was a matter of life and death. Fermentation, smoking, drying. Techniques developed centuries before anyone knew why they worked. Acidity, salt, smoke. Weapons against bacteria they didn't understand but respected. Here's the shock. Some of their water systems were more advanced than those used in Europe 1,000 years later. Rivers diverted with stone channels, rainwater collected in carved basins, every drop calculated to avoid disease. Boats, tiny, fragile, yet capable of crossing storm-tossed seas. Wood carefully chosen, hulls deliberately light, every plank, every lash, every curve, a masterpiece of functional engineering. And they did all this with no written instructions, no one to guide them, no blueprints. Every survival solution passed down as stories, rituals, or lessons learned the hard way. They mastered the impossible. Cold, heat, hunger, predators, disease, all conquered. And what seems like basic survival to us was the height of genius in a world without safety nets. By the end of this section, you'll understand that these humans weren't just surviving. They were solving problems that would have destroyed entire modern civilizations. They built, they hunted, they navigated, and they thrived, while the rest of the world perished. And the truth about their genius will make you question everything you thought you knew about ancient survival. Look up, look around. Some of these structures shouldn't exist, and yet they do. Giant stone walls aligned perfectly without mortar, tunnels carved through solid rock, bridges spanning rivers with nothing but logs and ingenuity. No architects, no engineers, no advanced math, just humans who refused to fail. In the mountains, they stacked stones higher than trees, each rock placed to distribute weight perfectly, without falling for centuries. Some sites still baffle scientists. Stones weighing tons, moved without pulleys, cranes, or wheels. How did they lift them? How did they transport them across miles of rugged terrain? We still don't know. They're houses, not shelters, fortresses. Walls angled to deflect wind, roofs designed to shed snow, floors raised to prevent rot, damp, and disease. Every detail, survival encoded into architecture. And the most shocking part? Many of these structures were built in harmony with the environment. Rivers, tides, winds, all incorporated into their design. What we call engineering today, they achieved intuitively. Even their cities defied logic. Labyrinthine streets that guided water away naturally. Drainage systems so precise. Flooding was almost impossible. They didn't need engineers. They understood nature better than we do now. Boats, too. Some designs were masterpieces of impossible problem-solving. Hull shapes that could survive storms that would sink modern vessels, lightweight but incredibly strong. Flexible yet durable. Every plank, every lash, every joint, designed with one goal: survival against impossible odds. And here's the part that shocks the most. Some of these techniques were lost for centuries. Centuries later, when civilizations rediscovered them, they marveled, copied, yet never fully understood. These humans didn't just adapt. They turned raw materials into life-saving machines, structures, tools, and settlements, all part of an integrated survival system. By the end of this section, you'll see that what seems impossible to us today was ordinary genius to them. They didn't just survive, they engineered life itself in a world designed to kill. Water, the source of life. And yet in ancient times, it was often death. Rivers poisoned, wells contaminated, rain unreliable. A single sip could kill. Cholera, dysentery, typhoid, invisible killers lurking in every drop. And yet, humans survived. Not by luck, not by chance, by turning nature itself into a defense system. They diverted rivers with stone channels. Rainwater collected in carved basins, filtered naturally through sand and gravel. Even wastewater, cleverly disposed of to avoid disease. No one taught them, no manuals. They invented it all through observation, trial, and sheer necessity. Vikings, for example. On long ships with no toilets, they used the ocean itself as sanitation. Every plank, every deck, every half-meter above water, engineered for survival. No waste lingered, no disease spread. Storms, buckets emptied immediately. Calm seas, nature handled the rest. In desert civilizations, shallow wells and cisterns were dug with precision. Salty or brackish water transformed into drinkable reserves. Fermentation, filtration, sedimentation, techniques developed thousands of years before modern science. Even food was part of survival engineering. Smoking, drying, fermenting, every method killed bacteria, preserved nutrients, and ensured no one starved or fell ill. Bread, beer, cheese, salted meat, all life-saving inventions disguised as daily necessities. And the shocking truth? Some of these systems were so effective, they allowed entire populations to thrive in regions where modern humans would perish in weeks. Shelters, water, food, all integrated into one survival network, Every plank, every stone, every basin, part of an invisible life-saving system. By the end of this section, you'll understand that ancient humans weren't just clever. They were masters of survival engineering. They transformed the impossible into everyday life, and their methods still shock modern scientists today. The lesson? Survival wasn't about adding more technology. It was about using what you already had, smarter, faster, stronger, and every innovation was a fight against death itself. Imagine a world where lice, fleas, and disease could kill within days. No soap, no modern medicine, no antibiotics. Every day, the fight for life. And yet, ancient humans survived. Not by luck, not by magic, by weaponizing hygiene. Vikings, for instance, combed their hair and beards daily. Bathing was weekly, not luxury but survival. Tools like combs, tweezers, and ear cleaners weren't ornaments. They were life-saving weapons. Social pressure enforced compliance. Neglect hygiene, face shame, face exclusion. Shame wasn't cosmetic. It was death or survival. Every sailor, every child, every woman, part of a distributed defense system against disease. Even their clothing habits mattered. Wool washed, dried, rotated, sweat, salt, and dirt removed, reducing infection risks. Cold water? Not punishment. It was sterilization. Sand scrubbing? Not torture. It removed lice, dirt, and bacteria. And here's the shocking part. These rituals weren't written down. They were taught, observed, enforced, and perfected over generations. Other civilizations had no such discipline. Disease ravaged entire towns, but these humans thrived in impossible conditions. Even food preparation was ritualized. Fermentation, boiling, preservation, all intertwined with hygiene. Bread, beer, milk, treated to destroy pathogens before consumption. Every meal, every sip, a calculated survival tactic. Sleep and shelter, carefully monitored. Ventilation, bedding rotation, and cleanliness, all engineered to reduce disease spread. Every habit, every ritual reinforced their invisible shield against death. By the end of this section, you'll realize survival wasn't random. It wasn't primitive. It was a culture of engineering life itself. Ancient humans didn't just survive, they designed their bodies, habits, and societies to resist death. And in doing so, they created lessons that modern science only confirmed centuries later. The truth? Every comb stroke, every bath, every fermented sip was a tiny, invisible weapon against annihilation, and those who ignored it didn't survive to tell the tale. Imagine crossing mountains, rivers, and oceans with nothing but your hands and raw materials, no engines, no trucks, no cranes, and yet, ancient humans did it. Every tool, every plank, every rope was life or death engineering. Boats carved from single trees. Ropes twisted from plant fibers strong enough to hold hundreds of pounds. Bridges made from logs and stone, spanning chasms that modern engineers hesitate to cross. They transported massive stones, miles across rugged terrain, not with wheels, not with pulleys, but with levers, rollers, and sheer coordination. Entire villages participated. Entire communities became machines. One wrong move, and a human life was lost. Even food and water logistics were genius. Grain stored in elevated silos to prevent rodents. Fermented beverages used to preserve liquids safely. Meat smoked, salted, and dried, enough to survive months of scarcity. Boats, too. Shallow drafted, flexible, able to beach anywhere. Every plank positioned to survive storms, carry cargo, and turn waves into allies. Some vessels could carry more than a dozen men and months of supplies, yet could navigate waters where modern boats would founder. Roads, trails, and ramps, nothing left to chance. Every incline calculated, every rock leveraged. Transport wasn't random. It was a moving system of survival. Humans, animals, materials, all synchronized into one living logistics network. And the shocking truth? Many of these methods were lost for centuries, rediscovered later. Engineers could replicate parts, but never fully understood the efficiency, elegance, and survival focus embedded in every choice. Every tool, every transport method was designed not for convenience, but to survive impossible odds. By the end of this section, you'll see that ancient humans weren't just clever. They engineered solutions to challenges that modern humans still struggle with. Every rock moved, every plank placed, every rope tied was a silent testament to human ingenuity and survival instinct. The lesson? Necessity didn't just breed invention. It created masterpieces of survival, forged in the fires of danger, scarcity, and relentless challenge. No single invention saved ancient humans. It wasn't the boat, it wasn't the comb, it wasn't the fermented beer. It was everything working together. Every plank, every channel, every ritual, part of a living, breathing survival network. Ships designed to flush waste immediately. Water systems to prevent disease. Hygiene rituals enforced by culture. Tools and logistics perfected over generations. Beaching a boat at a safe shoreline wasn't luck. It reset the entire system. Waste disposed, clothing cleaned, food prepared. Every stop, a controlled, deliberate survival checkpoint. Daily grooming reinforced hygiene. Fermented beverages ensured safe drinking. Stone channels and sand filters purified water. Smoke, fire, and sun preserved food. Animals carried, humans coordinated, all synchronized for one purpose: life. Even small details mattered. Half-meter freeboards on ships, bilge leaks flushing pathogens, sand scrubbing removing lice. Every detail calculated, every habit disciplined. And here's the shocking part. Ancient humans did all this without manuals, without engineers, without modern science. They learned through observation, trial, and necessity. Each generation improved the system. Failures were deadly lessons. Success became survival instinct. Modern scientists only now begin to grasp the genius. Every choice, every innovation, every habit was a node in a massive survival network. By the end of this section, you'll understand the truth. Survival wasn't random. It wasn't magic. It was design, ritual, and environment working as one. The lesson? Constraints don't limit survival. They force innovation. Weakness becomes strength. Chaos becomes order. And life always finds a way. Fast forward centuries. Modern humans look back. Ships, cities, tools. We think we've conquered nature. We think survival is easy. But the truth? We still struggle with what ancient humans mastered. Vikings or other civilizations built survival systems centuries ahead of modern science. They didn't rely on luck. They didn't rely on technology. They relied on observation, ritual, environment, and discipline. Every plank, every tool, every habit was engineered to survive impossible odds. Every storm, every disease, every scarcity, they turned weakness into strength. And here's the shocking reality. Most of their knowledge was lost, forgotten, buried under centuries of time. Yet, it is still visible if you know where to look. The lesson: survival isn't about adding more. It's about understanding constraints, respecting nature, and designing life around them. Every habit, every ritual, every system can teach us to thrive in chaos, just as they did. Imagine standing on the shores of North America 500 years before Columbus. No engines, no technology, no safety nets, and yet, humans not only survived, they thrived, they explored, they conquered nature with ingenuity, discipline, and foresight. Your takeaway? Sometimes, the smartest solution isn't building more. It's working with what you already have. Constraints become advantages. Weakness becomes power. Chaos becomes order. And in that truth lies the genius of ancient humans. a civilization that mastered survival against storms, disease, scarcity, and time itself. So the next time you face a challenge, remember, ancient humans solved impossible problems without tools, without science, without instructions. And if they could, so can we.